For me, the biggest one was just trying to figure out, where do I fit in this world with Amelie? Where am I gonna go, you know? Do I go the speech route and do cochlear implants? Do I go the ASL route? Do I, learn ASL? Do I not? Should I follow this path? Honestly, the best thing that I've realized over the years now and going through my journey is every journey is different. And, the journey that I have with Amelie is completely different than, anybody else's. And I finally have realized that having a deaf child has been the biggest blessing for me. Because, and I know it sounds crazy to some people, but it was a blessing in disguise. Amelie gave me a new culture, a new language, a new community to appreciate. And she made me value life in a different way. And so the biggest hurdle for me was, having a deaf child, but to see where I started and to see where I'm at now, it's such an amazing feeling. It's a huge accomplishment for me, because I think about all the things that I had to go through to where I'm at now.
I think the biggest thing that I have personally struggled with in working with my daughter and working with the whole world around my daughter is feeling pathologized as a parent. So feeling like we can't figure out what's best, or we're making the wrong decisions, or we should be doing things differently, or of all of the possible choices for what's right and wrong, there's not one that we could possibly make that would be the appropriate thing to do. And I think it's like, I understand it a lot more, and maybe this is part of the overcoming it, that because each individual is uniquely different than every other individual, and each family kind of figures out its own path and knows what it needs as things sort of grow and evolve. Some things are unknown, and that's really scary. So it's easy to kind of place value or judgment on something that you don't understand, or that you only understand for your own experience, without kind of applying empathy or like the emotional intelligence that it takes in order to attempt to know the things that you don't know and that you're not experiencing. So specifically, we've encountered a lot of value judgments around cochlear implants, or around using sign language, or around having cochlear implants and using sign language. And it's all things that I've kind of internalized, like, is this right? Well, what does research say? Well, what does Andrew say? Well, what does my mom say? And in the end, it's always going to come down to her, and how we as people can try to make the best choices that we can on someone else's behalf until they're old enough and autonomous enough to do it on their own. And I guess I always want the same for us, that we will be assumed to be capable enough to always make the best decisions we possibly can with the information and the capacity that we have. So it's a lot easier now, but in the early days I was like, are we ever going to do anything that everybody thinks is right? And no, I don't think that it's not possible, right? But we do a good job. We do a really good job, and we'll continue to, because she's awesome, and she's showing us the way.
One of the biggest hurdles that I had to overcome is being so stubborn. As a guy, as a man, being stubborn and being, I guess, don't want to say afraid, but intimidated by learning something new, learning a new language. I love languages, but learning ASL was totally different, because we speak to learn other languages. ASL was intimidating because I had to use my hands, I had to use face expressions, and I'm not really the most outgoing person, but having to overcome that and learn a new language has been actually one of the most surprising and most satisfying things that I've done so far.